When I first came to Broadgate, I realised that with enormous amounts of construction going on several projects at the same time, the propensity for chaos was huge.
The opportunity that McAlpine have had here is to actually be really innovative in the things that we're doing. So it's okay, yes, we need to communicate with people, we need to engage with people, we need to work in partnership, but how can we do that in a different way? And I think for McAlpine to have us on board, we do have that kind of vision.
This is a major feat of engineering that's going on here at 100 Liverpool Street, and what we're going to see shortly with the fulcrum being lowered makes me very, very proud to be part of and leading this team.
What we did was think about how Broadgate was originally developed as a best-in-class campus in the 1980s, and really how after 30 years that needed to adapt and to change.
We're now in a position where we can lower the fulcrum 10mm by 10mm on 8 jacks using hydraulics. With all the public walking past and the risks involved, this is something we cannot get wrong.
Broadgate was a campus that was developed in the 1980s in response to Big Bang. It was developed on the edge of the City of London. The areas around it hadn't quite improved to the extent they have today, and the campus was providing primarily office accommodation. What has really happened over the last 20 years, areas like Spitalfields to the east, Shoreditch to the north, where the tech sector has grown, and Old Street roundabout have come up tremendously, and that's changed the context of Broadgate.
100 Liverpool Street is a scheme that came about at the end of 2016 when UBS were moving out of this building that they'd been in for about 30 years since it was first built into their new headquarters at 5 Broadgate.
When we became custodians of the campus, it was all offices, and we realised that in order to keep pace with the demands of the market, we would have to be creating a much more mixed-use destination.
We normally sum up their Broadgate vision with a single sentence, which is to transform the Broadgate neighbourhood into a world-class mixed-use 7-day central London destination. And it would be good if we could measure 100 Liverpool Street against those objectives.
Beneath the building, we have 90,000 square feet of new retail accommodation and food and beverage, again expanding the facilities here at Broadgate, meeting this pent-up demand there is here from our customers for new facilities, and feeding off what is a tremendous footfall of 25 million people a year alone come through this mall beneath us from Liverpool Street Station, feeding into Broadgate and into the circle that we see behind us now. On top of that, we're providing new office accommodation, new flexible accommodation, meeting again the changing needs of our customers who are in this war for talent. They need to have best-in-class office space to attract people to come and work for them, and 100 Liverpool Street will absolutely provide for that.
To a company like British Land and with Sir Robert McAlpine, the approach to big complex projects like this, sometimes it can be a bit business as usual. But it's actually fiendishly complicated. So we've got a variety of interfaces that are really, really challenging. We're on top of Liverpool Street Station, so we have Network Rail there as the people who own and operate the station. We've also got TfL, and TfL in two main guises really. Firstly, there's Liverpool Street Bus Station, which we've had to close and relocate during construction, and also as Crossrail. We've had to get into the site, demolish, get out before Crossrail started to deliver the glass box above the station. So they were really, really challenging interfaces, not only to set up in terms of legal agreements of who's responsible for what, but also making sure that you can do what you need to do when you need to do it, because if you miss your small window of opportunity, you can be delayed by a year easily.
In order to achieve 3 large legal agreements with Crossrail, Network Rail and Transport for London buses, you have to approach the teams that are working for those 3 providers in a very collaborative manner. We were very lucky in that we have a very strong team of people at British Land and with Sir Robert McAlpine who were able to prove to those 3 bodies that we wanted to bring about an outcome that was in everyone's best interests and was at all times collaborative and achieved with consensus. That takes a great deal of commitment and above all, an exceptional set of behaviours. In order to keep everybody informed, we put up a big question to Sir Robert McAlpine. We asked them, how can you help us to communicate constantly?
If you think about it, you've got over 150,000 people commuting and coming through the area. Now, if you're building and you're constructing around them, you're going to disrupt them. There's no two ways about it. When we first started looking at all of the different stakeholders that we would need to engage with and communicate with, we really looked at how we would do that. So you had your kind of traditional methods of emailing, of newsletters on site hoardings, of using hoardings as well. But then we thought, actually, how can we do this and communicate with people in a way that they want to be communicated with? So what we decided is actually the way that people are starting to communicate nowadays is through apps. So we decided to look at what we could do to produce an app that would give people the information they need, but also engage them with what we're doing, so create a bit of excitement about the projects that we're working on at Broadgate, starting with 100 Liverpool Street.
I'm very pleased to say that in just under 2 years, I have not had any serious complaints or any major concerns raised by chief executives or any of the trustees of any of the businesses that are currently working and occupying Broadgate. That is a unique success. And it was done by Sir Robert McAlpine working on the basis of over-managing communications.
We do make things happen, and that's what we've tried to do with everything from our base construction build right through to the way we communicate with people, how we engage with people, and also how we engage with people on site as well. So it's that kind of, yes, what can we think of that's different and how can we make it happen, and actually doing it as well.
So the fulcrum is a piece of art. Richard Serra, the American artist, whose medium is Core 10 steel, designed this back in the 80s when Broadgate was first built. And for some explicable reason, and we've never really got to the bottom of it, it was built at the top of a ramp. And that ramp was approximately 1.4 metres above the concourse of the station. And we wanted to have our shopping mall level from the concourse of the station all the way through 100 Liverpool Street and on into 1 and 2 Broadgate. We therefore had to contemplate lowering the fulcrum.
So we started demolition in various phases in February this year, and the last phase is the fulcrum area. We've had to work from the north all the way around to the station. And in August we redirected the pedestrians through our building so that we could do the demolition around the fulcrum. It's been lowered on hydraulic jacks. So there are 8 jacks, 4 on the east side, 4 on the west side. And there's a series of 150mm stools. So the jack stroke is 150mm and the stools are 150mm. We're going down gradually, surveying it all the way, and then we'll take that stool out and do another jack stroke.
It is not normal to lower 200-ton pieces of art 1.4 metres. We required a planning consent, we required a great deal of structural engineering, but at the end, when we have lowered the fulcrum, we'll have a long, straight, level mall, and it will have the same height shop fronts from one end to the other, and not, as was previously the case, diminishing as you rose up the ramp. Now that is an enormously difficult structural achievement.
We've had various design departments looking at this. We've had a category 3 check done on it. We can't afford for this to go wrong. So at the moment it's on temporary works. So that's all braced with raking props, various bits of steelwork holding all of the jacks together and the towers, the temporary towers in place. Once the structure is lowered, then we'll do another load transfer onto the new steelwork. Then we'll bolt it all together, cast the concrete around it, link it all in, and then it will be stable on its own, so we can take the temporary works out.
It is testament to the abilities, the skill and the determination of all those people that have worked hard to deliver this, that it has been achieved satisfactorily with the City of London's planners' support, with the artists' support, and most of all, with British Land and GIC support. It's been a magnificent success story and one that I am immensely proud of.
It's not just putting together a building and structure and concrete and steelwork and demolition, it's all the additional stuff that go with it. It's given us that starting point to really set the bar really high in terms of what we're doing and really showcase how good we are, and also how exciting redevelopment and building and construction is.
One of the things that I love about property and development generally is the ability for other people to walk past and touch and feel the thing that you've created. I genuinely believe that in early 2020, when the scheme is finished and people kind of come to it for the first time when it's complete, they'll walk past and they'll touch it and they'll feel it and they'll think, this is a good piece of city, and it's going to brighten up their day, whether they work here, whether they're just passing through, or whether they're just a visitor.
I think just being able to walk through the Liverpool Street station and see what we've achieved and look from the outside at this fantastic building is going to be a great achievement.
My favourite thing about this project is it's been run well, it's been run successfully, it's on programme, and it's going to be a tremendous success.